Hello everybody, and welcome again to another video. It's a lovely sunny day in October. It's actually going to be about 80 degrees or something like that today. So I am taking advantage of this before all of our yummy sunny goodness goes away for the fall. Oh my goodness. So yeah, enjoying it immensely. I am out by my pond again and stream and all that goodness. It's not running right now because our power has gone out. Don't know why. It went out probably just after 8 o'clock this morning, and so now it's 8, 9, 10, like 4 hours now it's been since it's been out. So don't know when it's supposed to come back on. Hopefully soon. And hopefully you have a yummy good drink for you to sip and enjoy if you are stitching. I hope you're having a great time stitching. If you're at work or wherever you're able to watch this, that you have something yummy to sip on. Okay, let's get into some good stuff going on. I do have quite a few whips to show you this time. I was able to finish something up and be able to work on a lot more projects, and so that has helped instead of just having like 1 or 2 things to show you. All right, first of all though, I am going to show you some videos of some things that had happened. It's almost 2 weeks. I think it's been about 2 weeks now since it happened. Anyway, I'm going to put those in. Warning, it may be a little bit loud, but hopefully not too loud for you. The air show. I might have mentioned it in the last video that it was going to be happening, but directly, I mean, it's more southwest of us. I think west is a little bit more that way. Is an airport. It's a small town airport. It's not like a big international airport or anything, and usually it's just people who are learning to get their license, maybe some people that might fly into Portland or somewhere, Salem, somewhere close by. It's not a big airport, but they do an air show there, and yes, the Blue Angels were part of them. That was mostly the jets that you saw. There are other pilots that do other trick things. That is usually done closer to the airport, so we don't see that so much. It's mostly the jets that fly directly over our house. I mean, you just can't get any closer than that. So they're low and loud, and it's a lot of fun to watch. So I was able to, so they practiced on a Thursday, and then Friday, Saturday, and Sunday were shows. So for 4 days, we got to hear them roaring over our house. Yeah, it's once a year. It's no big deal. We don't mind so much. Freaks our cats out quite a bit though. So we try to, I mean, there's nothing you can do. You can't help them. You can't do anything unless you just drive them away completely somewhere else, away from the noise. And then they're traumatized by the car ride. So yeah, they just have to get through it. So it's a lot of fun. It was later this year than it normally has been. So normally it's, more in summer, definitely hot summertime. And so we're out here with under shade, under umbrellas, whatever it is that we need to have to try and watch them. And this time it was in September, so it was not quite as hot, and that makes it much nicer. Okay, the next thing I wanted to cover real quick, and I've been showing these as I have the ability to, is the books that I have been reading. So I'm kind of doing a lot of things within these videos as well as stitching things. So hopefully it's a nice variety for you. I am part of a book club. I've mentioned that lots of times before. If you haven't heard me say that before, it's the Once Upon a Book Club. That's the actual group and they send you a book once a month, as well as some surprise presents. that's gifts, however you want to think of it, that go along with that story. So as you're reading, it will tell you when to open the gifts, because you don't just open them right away. So I have stuck all of mine from this book. So those are the little post-its that are on the pages. When you get to that present, then it tells you to open it. And so it's kind of a fun little treat as you're reading. Anyway, so the book that I read, Famous for a Living, kind of appropriate for people who are influencers, because that's what this is about. This is the girl who's an influencer. I know those of us who make videos, some of us are using, that's kind of their job. That's what they do. And whether they have sponsors, whether, you know, whatever. Some people just do it like me for fun, just to come and visit with y'all. You know, there's a big variety on everyone in between that. So she, you know, not stitching related, but she's an influencer. Things go horribly wrong for her, and she loses everything, basically. Well, kind of everything. She's in the middle of a lawsuit. So she ends up going and living with her uncle, who is, you know, this fictitious town in Montana, but it's like, again, a fictitious national park. So she's completely out of her element from city life, like New York City, to now out in the mountains. And kind of how she's dealing with that change, as well as the fact that she doesn't have followers like she did anymore. It also addresses, it's like, how addicted is she to her phone? And when she puts some kind of post out there or whatever, video, having to check it all the time and seeing how many likes that she's gotten, and you know, just talking to other people all the time, you know, constantly having her phone. So it was kind of a nice little, you know, self-check, I guess is the best way to phrase it. It's like, how am I doing with that kind of stuff, the social media aspect of things, and my phone and everything. And I'm, compared to, you know, even some members of my family, I'm not nearly like that. I'm not quite as bad as doing that kind of stuff. But in the back, it's got several different questions for you to think about, or, you know, just comments. So here's the back of this one. Do I have a problem is the question. That's the quiz. So like the first one, do I feel unusually anxious when I'm separated from my phone? Would I be embarrassed to admit my screen time statistics per week to others? So things like that. So it's kind of nice, you know, it's like, am I on my phone too much? Am I doing this too much? I don't usually look at the posts for what I have posted, or seen how many people have watched the videos, or anything like that. I just do this for fun, so it's not anything quite that drastic. But yeah, it's kind of a good reminder to read, you know, do I need to step away? Do I need to have some downtime from my social media stuff? You know, all that kind of stuff. So I'm not going to show you all of the gifts. Usually there's 3 gifts in each box that you get with your book. This one had 4. I am going to show you one of the things that I got that I thought was really cool. And I've seen these before. Speaking of the airport, I think there's a helicopter going by. There's also a hospital down by the airport area, and so I don't know if potentially, you know, helicopters going by because of the hospital. Anyway, one of the things I got in there that I thought was so cool, and I had seen these before, but I forgot about them because I haven't had them before, was car coasters. And you may be thinking, what is a car coaster? Well, a car coaster is this. So it is, keep my stuff from blowing away. It's a ceramic coaster. I don't know how much you can hear that. Very pretty, very pretty. And I got 2 of these in this box. I've already put one in my car, but I wanted to keep one out to show y'all. So it's really, really pretty. It's got the cork on the back. And so this goes into your drink holders in your car. And you notice it's got a little notch here, so that when you sit it in there, when you want to get it out, you have a little notch to try and, you know, lift it out of, instead of, you know, getting a nail file or a screwdriver or something and try and wedging it down on the side to kind of pop it up. But this gives you a little notch to be able to do that. So if it gets dirty or yucky, you can, or you spill a lot in and you need to get the coaster out to sop up the mess, then you get this. But if you got, you know, your drinks that sweat and kind of drip down into there, pretty nice. So I love these things. I am using mine in my car already. Probably put this one in there as well. But yeah, neat little gifts. Not all of them are things that I would use or I would want, but there's usually at least one thing, if not two, of the gifts that I enjoy and I will use. So that is what I got for that. I'm already reading the next book, and you get all kinds of genres. It's not just one kind, and you don't know what kind of book you're going to get or what genre you're going to get. They may send out an email telling you something, kind of giving you hints about what kind of book you're going to be getting, but I don't pay attention to them too much. I just wait till I open it. So the one I'm reading right now is a thriller. I don't always read thrillers, but and I've kind of forgotten because it's been a while, but it's pretty interesting so far. So I'll have to share that with you in the next video of how it turns out. And I won't give it all away in case you want to read the book, but I'll tell you, little hints of how I felt about it. Okay, let's get into some whips, and I have a finish, so I will end up sharing that with you as well. I'm just trying to think if there's anything I'd forgotten. Okay, let's get into something here. So let's I'm trying to think of the order as well. I think I'm going to show you, I've got several new starts. So I'm going to show you a whip first. Just make sure I can find the one that is the whip. They're kind of just all shoved. Oh, yes. Okay, so the first one, I've showed you this before, Rodney, Kathy Barrick. I love me and my Rodney. He's very cute. I don't know, because I had to focus on this finished piece that I will eventually show you. So I don't know how much I got done of this compared to last time. It's hard to determine. So here it is. I know I came down some more down here with these. Got some more letters done, and I got more of Rodney in there. So now he has 2 legs, 2 forearms up there now instead of just 1. So he's looking pretty good. So I had mentioned that I'm using the called for the most part. I think I had to change Rodney's color, but I got as close as I could because they didn't have the one I wanted, so I had to pick something else. But I think he's pretty close to the picture. And I'd mentioned that it's silks, and if you haven't used silks before, beware, blah, blah, blah. And it's not like it's terrible to use it. It's just that they feel like a thinner, wispier thread. And so they kind of want to flow around and potentially knot up. That's the only reason I had mentioned, just be careful when you're using silks. But yeah, Rodney's coming along lovely. I love me my Rodney. Okay, let's see what we got next. I know there's another whip. I'm just trying to find where it's at. Okay, there it is. This one I've showed you as well, and this is my watercolor owl. This is a download. Obviously, I've got this paper, Svetlana, and there's her last name. So this is a Russian designer. I love this owl. It's so cute. So cute. So again, I'm not sure how much I got done with this one. I know you can see his eyes now, and the part for his head, one side of his head is filled in more, but it's a light color, so we'll see how much you will be able to see that on video. So there it is. So yes, you can see his eyes. I know the beak was there. You can see the beak pretty well. So you can see his eyes, and then of course we got a lot more on the side of his head. It's a little bit lighter color though, so it doesn't show up quite as much. But yeah, it's coming. I love this. Very nice. So now that I finished the other things, I'll be able to get a little bit more stitching time on some of these other things. Okay, let me see. I think the rest of these are new starts. So we'll get into the new starts and show you what I'm doing. Oh, I forgot to bring something down here, but that's okay. So I am doing this. So the Cricut collection is called Sam's in Stripes. So there's that. Okay. I mean, both of these look the same. I believe I'm doing the bigger size. I don't know how different they are. It's hard to tell. I think you do have the option of using like a regular yellowy gold thread or a Krynic type of thread for like the buttons and some of that gold trim in there. I'm going to use a Krynic. So let me show you what I have done so far. Get my fabric to cooperate. I don't have this in a Q-snap. So that's the middle guy. Well, kind of, that's where the middle is, but there's 3 skinny ones and then a little bit bigger, wider Sam who's holding the flag. So that's why he is still considered the middle. So that is up to about his neck here. So I do have his face and then a hat that will go on top of him. And then the whole thing will just be slightly taller than that because the top of the flag has some ribbon and that will be the top. So we got quite a bit done for a start. I think I worked on this a couple of times, so not a lot. Now this, I had gotten this at StitchCon. I think I saw the first year I went, they were selling these boxes that had like, and they're wooden boxes with wooden ruler type things around the edge. And then there's one dividing line. So there's a really big wide spot and then a narrower spot in the box. And they had put this in the bigger section. They'd stitched it and put this in there. I didn't get it the first year, but when I went this last June, I did get this pattern and the box. So that is what I'm going to put this in. So I forgot to bring the box down to show you what it looked like. But maybe I will remember next time. So you can see what that looks like. So we got quite a bit done there. And the next one, this one I really, really loved when I got it. And I was very, very excited about it. So it is Beloved. So cool. This is Running with Needle and Scissors. And I can't remember who the gal is. I got her autograph. She was at StitchCon this last June, but I can't remember her name because it's not listed here. It's just her company that's listed. So this I did start. I did change the fabric because I couldn't find it there, and I found something else that I liked equally just as well. So let's show you what I've gotten done so far. There it is. So I'm working on that top part. Yep. So we've got, you know, like berries and vines and whatnot in there. So you can see the color. It's more of a bluish with a little kind of hint of green. It's kind of hard to tell. Obviously videos are distort everything. It's really hard to tell. But yeah, definitely more of a bluish green color. Now, the vining. So make sure you can see that. So you can see that. So there's kind of a mustard color in there, and then there's 2 colors of green. The lighter color of green is not the called for. The called for was almost this bright green. It didn't look right. It didn't look right at all. And I didn't bring that down here because I forgot I had changed that color. So I went on a hunt to try and figure out what looked good with the floss that was called for around it, as well as what would look good in everything, you know, all the things to consider. So I ended up changing it. And this just used DMC. It's nothing else. The call for color was 988, and it was too bright. So the darker green is 500, and so I just went with 501 for that lighter green. So it's in that same family with the 500. It looked good with it, and it seemed like the right color for the picture. So I'm going to show you the picture here above. You can kind of see both of them. So how is this bright green? I don't understand. I don't get that. So yeah, I had to change it. So just be aware of that if you do have this pattern and you potentially want to start it. But yeah, I'm really, really liking it so far. There's a lot of information I don't have here that I don't remember, like what stitch count, if it's 32 or 36. I don't remember. And I did not bring everything with me, so I don't have the tag with me. I'm a terrible person today. Forgot all kinds of stuff. But is what it is. So we're just going to move on. All right, the next one that I have started is this. I was very excited to get this pattern. Hopefully it's not glaring. This is Stars and Stripes. It's by Plum Street Samplers and Shakespeare Peddler. So it's a combination thing that they work together for. It says it's an exclusive to Kitten Stitcher. And in June, the end of June is when they had released this. So I don't know how available this is right now. I haven't looked for any of that kind of stuff. But I was really excited about this particular one. Now, the reason it's called Stars and Stripes is, if you can't tell, it's over here on this one. It says stars, and you have the ampersand, and it says stripes right here. So you can stitch them separately. You can do whatever you want, really. I mean, if you just like the barn, just stitch in the barn or this barn and don't worry about the wording Stars and Stripes. But I am going to do all three. And so that's what I'll do. And here is my start. So we've got, you know, this is the top of this barn, like, I don't know if it's a wind vane or what. And then a little bit of the striping across, as well as the stars that go in that border there, and the beginning of the lettering over there. So, gotten some of it done. Not a lot, but some. A lot's better than nothing. Or a little's better than nothing, I should say. Okay, and I believe I got one more start that I did. So a lot of that was patriotic-ish. It just happened to be that way. I mean, Beloved isn't, but it just, some of those things. So the next one is clearly not a patriotic. More winterish. So thought this would be fun. I just happened to come across this in my stash. I'm like, oh, that looks really cute. I want to do it. And it does come with the noses. And the little bead is for the top of, I think, the very top hat. And as you can see, I got this at Stitchville a long time ago, because I haven't gotten stuff like this from them since I think we moved. But yeah, it'll be really cute. Really cute. Let me show you. I've got to unroll it. So get that. I haven't gotten a lot done. I just started this yesterday, so I didn't have a lot of time that I've worked on it so far, but there you go. So we've got his head. So this is the bottom snowman. So he's got a head, and then this is on his belly, this snowflake. So that's what I've done so far. So, and this is different. So I've changed quite a few things on this. On here you can see it's green fabric. I'm using this blue, this really pretty blue, because it feels like more wintry to me. And that's what I want to use. The called for colors, so they gave you the chart, and they do list the DMC that goes with it, but most of them, they're listing, I think probably what they stitched it with was either Classic Colorworks, some weeks. There's a Gentle Arts, one of them was a Gentle Arts. So I didn't have all of them. And I just thought, well, if I have a fancy floss, it would be fun to do it with this. So I went in search of anything that I did have off the list, and then the ones I didn't, I tried to find, you know, a conversion chart to see, like if it was a Classic Colorworks, what color matched that in weeks, or what color matched that in Gentle Arts, and to see if I had that. And then from there, whatever I didn't have, I would just use the DMC. But even that, I changed some of the DMC because I didn't care for some of them. One of the colors that's, you see in the hat, you got some orange and yellows, and it seemed like they were just too bright for what I wanted. Some of them are a little bright, but not, I mean, like neon bright. I didn't want that. And so I had a little bit, I muted it down a little bit. I think I changed, even though they're purple, I think I changed this slightly, a little bit. So yeah, I have changed quite a few floss colors on this. And once again, if I remember, I will bring those and show you, or I'll put it in the in my description of what I did. I probably won't do it for this one, but maybe next time I will do that, because who knows when the power is going to come on and I can start downloading this onto the computer and sending it out to y'all. I don't know. So yeah, that'll be fun, and hopefully it'll be a quick stitch because it's smaller and it's just, you know, cuteness. So there is all of my whips, my new starts, and now I have a finish to show you. This is one of those portfolio things that I have been talking about that I have made in the past. And so I did do the stitching, and I also did the whole finish of what I, you know, made it into the portfolio, and then I made a video for y'all. So I finally didn't forget to do that. That way it gives you a little bit better idea of what I'm talking about as to how I made those. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in now. And here it is. I remembered to make a video for you all to be able to see how I have put one of these together. I've made two others that I've talked about, and so now I'm finally getting to show you. This is a gift for somebody as well, so they will see this after they have gotten it, thankfully. This is slightly larger than the ones I've normally made. The ones I've been able to keep confined to about a 8.5 by 11 size. This is closer to a 10.5 by 10.5. So just because of the size of the stitching, and I needed to make enough of a border so that when I wrapped around the edges, that the seam was not interfering with that, because that was a problem with one of the other ones that I made. So yeah, it ended up being this size. As you can see, I have put a little fancy closure on there. I just felt like doing that for these ladies that I have sent these out to. It is a leather one. It does wrap around to the back, and then it's got a snap for the front. So let's go ahead and look at this. So it opens up, and here is the first part. So on this side, this is a vinyl zippered pocket here, this whole thing here. It also has this little part here, so a slip pocket back here. The middle part opens up, and this is all little pockets for floss bobbins. Okay, so I have sold things, usually I've shown them and they're smaller than this. I think I call them bobbin files. So that's what that is. And then on this side are two pockets, vinyl pockets that are zippered. So they have a couple more options to store some things in. So it's kind of simple, but it does take a bit of work to put one of these together. It probably takes me about 8 hours to do everything for this. This takes quite a bit of time to do, and then just trying to make sure you're putting all the layers in and all the parts in the right order, because it does take a little bit of thinking to make sure you're doing it all right. So there it is. As you can see, it does take quite a few different kinds of fabric if you're not going to use all the same. So you've got whatever fabric you want to use here. You've got the accent for the zipper as well as the lining here. You've got this one, and then I've used a different fabric for these pockets back here, as well as whatever you're going to use for your front cover. As you can see, I've kind of got this gold speckled cream colored, because it went well with the stitching fabric here, the cross stitch fabric. And so if you're not using a cross stitch piece, it would just be whatever fabric you wanted there. But yeah, that is what I have been making, and I hope that was helpful instead of me trying to explain it all. So I hope y'all like that. I really enjoy making those for those gals. So yeah, that one was a bit bigger, and I did mention that I think on the video about it being a little bit bigger than the other ones. But so pretty. That bouquet with lemons, so pretty. Okay, And I believe the last thing that I am going to show you was what I normally do is some planner pages in case you're interested in seeing those. I did start a couple of new things. I'm not going to start putting these in the videos or anything. I'm just going to mention them here. Is because I do watch some videos of people who designs their planner pages, puts the stickers in, so it kind of gives me ideas as well, just like I'm showing you to give you some ideas. And then some of those, that's their job. And so they do have sponsors and they do have links to products and whatever. And so they're showing you new things as well. And that's where I saw these things in one of those videos. And I'm like, oh, I think I want to try that. So one of them is some pages. So it doesn't come in a book. You have to put it in one of your own planner books type thing, is daily pages. And it gives you spots. I mean, you can switch it up any way you want. So it gives you spots for a box that you can list things you must do, things you should do, and things you want to do. So it kind of gives you an order of, it helps me not to forget some things I absolutely need to get done, but also some things I'd like to get done. And if they get pushed another day, it's no big deal. But that way I know they are on the list and I need to get them done. It also gives you places for notes, a couple different places for some notes. There is also a sticker book that you can buy separately. And that sticker book has, in the back, it's got some quotes, some fun quotes you can put on the pages. But it also throughout the thing has, each set is 2 pages. So it's 1 pages with boxes and bullet points and whatever. And then the other pages is florals. And it's all coordinates with those daily planner pages. So it's really cool to be able to, use that in your spread for those. So I've done my first week with that, and I am loving it. I'm loving it. The other thing I got was, I'm trying to remember if I had to buy them separately. It was an actual book, so it came with the cover, the back and front cover to it with the rings and everything. And then I also have a sticker book, and that's why I can't remember if I bought the sticker book separate from the book, the planner book, is a reading journal. So once again, I'm going to attempt to, because some of the things that I'm keeping track on the daily pages is habit trackers. And one of the habit trackers is to be doing reading every day, or try to do almost every day. So I keep on top of it, and I get through not only my book club books, but maybe some more. And I know I said at the beginning of the year, I wanted to try and do more reading, and maybe even more than the one book for the book club. And then I got to like, this ain't working. I'm lucky to get through one in a month. And I'm going to try and push towards doing a little bit more than that. It may not be a ton. If I get 2 books read in a month, I think that's pretty good, because I don't read a lot. I mean, it's like a half an hour at night, and I'm not a super speedy reader. So you do the math. It's not going to be very much. But I'm going to attempt to try and do a little bit more. So that has lots and lots. So there's 12 sections for each month, 1 section for each month. So you've got that. But then it's also got a lot of other pages at the beginning of those, as well as some stuff at the end, so you can record all the books you've read for the year in one spot. It's got some like a page where several different boxes with different prompts in them, like a book that you read with an author the same name, first same as yours. What else was there? A woman author, a whole bunch of, just a lot of different prompts that, try and get you to read different kinds of books. And then there was another one of things you could do, like go to a book club meeting, do this, do that, different kinds of things. Just neat little prompts to try and keep things new and interesting when you're trying to keep up with your reading. So that was, and it also gave you places to put notes for each day if you wanted to remember something about what you read. And that way, when you go back, you're not trying to remember, what was it that I read about this, or what quote did I like, or whatever. So it gives you a little place to jot down some notes if you wanted to. So that will be fun, and hopefully that will help me remember some more things about the books, whether it's when I'm sharing it with you or just making notes in general in my little journal there. So those are the 2 new things that I've gotten planner-wise. And again, I'm not going to bore you with those and show you those. I might be able to show you what they look like in a future video if you're interested, but other than that, I'm not going to like show you them because I don't decorate them a lot. It's just more general little tiny things that I put here and there. So just kind of keeps things interesting. But anyway, I'm going to put in the other planner pages for October, my regular planner, so you can see how those look.
And once again, we're back to our planner pages. For the month of October, I will show you 1 week in November, and I will explain that as we get to it though. So we have several, now this page doesn't represent that, but we've got many pages this month that I put a little bit more effort into than I think I normally would. I put a lot of time and detail into it, and it just took a little longer than I expected to get them done, but I really, really like them. So again, you don't have to go through that much effort if you don't want to, if you don't want it to look that way. Something simple. I mean, this is pretty simple. It can be just like this. So let's get into what I used. So the first page here is using, let me turn this over here, is using this stuff. And I've showed you this before, these kinds of pages. So this pack comes with 10 12 by 12 pages full of stickers. Turn it around so you can see. So there's a lot on here. I never end up using all that's on one page. I have used just from one page it multiple times, and I'll use little bits here and there and for other pages and whatnot. So there's a lot of stickers in here, a lot. And they are a little thicker. They're not thin normal stickers. I don't know how much you can see, but you can definitely hear there's a bit of a lip, an edge to that. So they're a little bit almost like a cardstock type of sticker. So that is what I used for this page. I did use some washi tape here, and there's a couple of, like I said, there's 10 pages in that pack, and so I needed to I wasn't finding quite the right thing. So as I was flipping through those, I found things like this and these and this one. I believe those were on potentially different days, different pages. Not 100% sure, but it doesn't have to be where you're just using. They have different looks to them. So some of them are very, they're like this, where it looks like a real truck and kind of cute little sign and a wreath. And then you have some that are more cutesy. Okay, so you can flip through and kind of find what I needed or wanted to use to kind of add to this. Kind of something fun is, because it's talking about leaves are falling, I just made a trail of blowing leaves. So anyway, lots of good ideas, different ways to do things with this type of pack. I don't know if you can still get this kind of pack of stickers. It's called Echo Park Paper. It's a sticker pack. I've got, I think, 3 out of the 4 seasons. I have packs for them, but I got them at like Tuesday Morning, which is, like a retail store that sells stuff that they've gotten cheap and whatnot. So I don't know if you can still get it or not. So there's week number 1. And here is week number 2, an example of when I say I did a little bit more. This is something new that I have recently gotten. I mean, really, it just came in the mail, I don't know, earlier this week. So I haven't had it very long. This is something called Wrong Wrong, and it's Amber Allure is the pack, and it's fall. It's kind of, like scrappy type of, what am I thinking of the word? It's like scrappy journal type of look. So it's, layer upon layer of different things that don't necessarily seem like they would go together, but they make it work. So that is kind of what this is. You got girls, but you also have all these other different things. So lots of things. And in the back, so you got some of this, but then you had like newspaper pieces, paper that's folded, and then lots of flowers too. So you have a lot of that kind of stuff to be able to use. The other thing that I got at the same time was this sticker roll, and it does seem, I mean, it goes with this. It's the same thing. Um, so it's got a lot of the same repeats, but so I'm going to show you. You can start here with this girl with a newspaper, and it unrolls and unrolls and unrolls and unrolls until you get to her again. So that is how long it is until it repeats. A long, long, long ways. So it gives you the option that if you do use these girls, like here and here and here. Now this one was in the book because you can see it's already, it had a lot of this stuff behind it. So it wasn't one of these. But yeah, then it gives you the option to be able to use them again in other things, whether it's planner pages or other ways you're going to use stickers. So that's kind of nice, not having to just use one and then you're like, oh man, I really wish I had that for another time. So anyway, you can see it just takes some time of putting together. I did watch some videos, so kind of get me in the mind frame of doing this kind of look. So like here is one big sticker. It does have some newspaper print here, but this is a sticker and this is a sticker. And then of course you got here your little box for writing in. So you just kind of, it gives this kind of look, but you have to do it yourself. This is a piece of washi tape that's in the book, so that's the same thing here. And then you're putting a flower over it. Here I've got five different things. I've got the girl. This is a separate sticker. This is a separate. This is a separate. And then you've got the saying across. So it just takes some practice. And I didn't come up, this did not happen just like, oh yeah, I'm going to do all of this. It's like, I laid this down. It's like, okay, what can I add to it? And it was a trial and error. So I've tried a couple of different things behind her. So this kind of look here that I showed you in the back of the book, I tried putting some of that behind it and it didn't work. It wasn't working. So I had to switch it up and I ended up coming up with eventually this whole thing. I had wanted to use this flower section, but trying to do it the way with some of the other stuff I was using, like this kind of look behind here, and it wasn't working. So don't be afraid to say, you know, that's not working. I've got to move on and find something else that will. So, you know, it's fun to be able to just not have to worry about it being just perfect, just right. You just, like this is, I had put this here, but I wanted to cut around here so that it was bordering the edge, and that leftover piece I just stuck down here. Kind of like where they show, it looks like they've used tape. It's part of the sticker, but it has a look as if you've taped this down. Well, just plop that over there, and it's not even lined up at the very bottom. It's kind of at an angle, and it's fine because that's, you know, the scrappy look. So there is page 2, week 2 of October. Week 3, again, ends up being kind of the same color scheme. Not that I plan on doing that, but when I pulled out all the ideas of what I wanted to use for October, it has a lot of the same kinds of colors. So that's what I ended up doing. So let me grab what we used for that. So, lots to see here, huh? So this was Pleasantly Planned. I don't know how well that's going to focus. So this is a brand I've used before. This particular look is called Harvest Wishes. So if you went on the Pleasantly Planned site and you looked for Harvest Wishes, then you would see all of the things that this came. So this is the smaller sheet, and this is the larger sheet, obviously. So they don't come together. You have to get them separately. So, you know, here and here and here and this. You know, a lot of this, anything that's got the white matte outline to it was from this sheet. I did pull from a couple other places. So this is only going to have so much, and I needed to have a little bit more to go with it because it was not going to look like this otherwise. So this, the sticker book, okay, it's essential season, so it's going to have all 4 seasons in it. And then I just had the fall season, so there's some of those. some more of those. And then I believe farther back, you're getting into more of the square stickers and those boxes. Okay. So I added those with it, as well as I did this Amber Plans Her Day, the Bijou Essentials. I have shown this before if you watched this part. So it's got this page where it's got all these different shapes, and then this to go with it, and then it's just all the different kind of looks to them. And so this is where I use this one, but you can see lots and lots of different kind of looks, and goes into the blacks as well. So this I ended up using in a few different places. So down here, behind here, here, and down here, as well as a little tiny scrap here. So this kind of has a little bit of a look of like that scrappy journal type of look, again, like the previous page did, but just not quite as much. It just gives you a little bit of that flair to it. But yeah, and then of course the journaling boxes that were out of this book. So behind here, as I mentioned, you've got the boxes. Went ahead and used those, as well as some out of the other seasonal book. So kind of just, found colors that worked together, and all that worked with the original pages that I had gotten with. So that's, just raid your stash. So some of the other things I ended up doing too, and I'm trying to remember, I might have done, I don't think I did it on this page, I might have done on another, is these are also rolls I've had. This are from Washing Tape Shop again. I've used a lot of their types of stuff. So I've used a lot of this just to accent things again. So things like here, and I put a little bit here. Again, along the lines of that scrappy journal type of look. So it gives, a little bit more, and you're hiding some of the awkward blanks. Okay. All right. So there's that page. Let's go into the next one. Oh boy. Yeah, I dove back into my villains book. This is from Happy Planner. I had done one page, so I think I used the Hades one the last time, but this time I decided to go with the Evil Queen. The Evil Queen. Now, when I thought about doing this, I watched gals who do planner pages, just like we're watching Flosstube, and I know this is Flosstube and not planner pages, but I throw this in case you're all interested. And she has, a lot of times what she ends up doing is she'll take the whole page, the blank page, and she will just cut this part out and put it onto like scrapbook paper. The problem I find with that is that then you've added because you can't use the back of it. It's, it would normally be, if you did that, the back side would be the back side of the scrapbook paper. So you would have to take your other week and, tape them together or whatever, and that's going to make it even thicker. So I decided I was going to do that look, but I was going to change it up a little bit. So there's actually two different pages here. Okay. Let me grab those real quick. So two different scrapbook pages. I've got this look and then the purple look. Okay. And that's a lot of times what she'll do is she'll put a different page at the top and the main page here with this squared cutout piece on top of it. Because I didn't want to cut it out but still have the same look, I went ahead and put it on some scrapbook paper, as you can see. I put the scrapbook paper on here. I'm trying to figure out how I did this. I think it was on this side. Yeah. So I had like a scrapbook paper here, you can see, and then there was another piece that went up the side. And so I glued the scrapbook paper on and then cut the scrapbook paper out. So instead of having this piece glued onto the scrapbook paper is glued onto the main sheet, and it stays the whole sheet. And that way I have the backs to use for my previous week. Okay. Same thing up here. Just cut out a notch in order to have that look as if it's running behind the white. I don't feel like I explained that super well, but you kind of get the idea. Then it was just a matter of using a lot of the stickers that came in here. This is really hard to see, but it says, I am who I am. Your approval is not needed. I find that funny. And then you got your villainous plans. We've got a sticker for evil queen. Dare to begin. So if you're trying to encourage yourself to do something new, these are just note to self. There's other ones that say different things that have that look to them in the book. Now, a lot of it that you get in the book, and I can show you like a page I haven't pulled from. So from 101 Dimensions, you've got her, and a lot of times it's the same look. So that's the same, that's the same. You end up with the same look. So I didn't want to repeat that. So there's, you can see same. And then you get those pages. Let's see if this changes. And then you have those. That changes. Let me see if there's anything else. Nope, that was it. So you get that, and that for each character. Now, at the very beginning, I believe, yes, move that out of the way. You have some of all the characters, so a little bit different, but a lot of times it's still the same look. Okay, so you have, and then you've got some of these quotes that you can use, as well as a few extras, and then there's a currently sticker, and then you're starting to get into each character. So that, you're kind of limited on how much you have to put on there just from that book. So in order to zhuzh it up a little bit, I pulled this one out, and you're thinking, blue, this is purple. Well, they do have some purple flowers in here. So those worked. You kind of have a little bluish here, but yeah, it's a much more purple. So it worked well with this page. So yeah, went ahead and did that. Trying to pull, you got these flowers here, which is really, besides the stuff from that book that's more purple, these flowers, I tried to use some of that coloring. So you've got some green, and plus we're dealing with apple. So this is why I end up using some green boxes, which I know you might not be able to tell, but this is a really dark green and this is a really dark green. So I wanted green for the apple, but I wanted it, and this is also a dark green, but I also wanted it to fit into the shading that was right. So if I used a really bright green, which I could have because it is in here, but I think it would have just stood out awkwardly. I wanted to use red as well, just a little bit of red for the apple as well, because remember, you get red apple, but then it turns to the green poison apple. So I used the green for that. So think about things like that when you're trying to put your pages together. It's like, maybe there's some different things that I can do, a little bit different ways in order to incorporate the coloring that I want. The days I did a little different, and she had showed this on her video as well, and I thought, I really like that, something different. So instead of normally having the numbers and the day of the week under here, and of course the numbers on the printed page are much smaller, so you can see, I'll turn this back. So this is what they normally look like when they come as is. And I do want to point out that sometimes I didn't even re-put the numbers up here. I just left them the way they are, because I can figure it out. I've got some here, and so that's fine. But I wanted to put them here, and I didn't have the right size that I wanted to use. So went to my computer. I printed out 2 different sizes because I wasn't sure exactly what was going to be the best fit for it. So I made the month as well as the numbers, and then I had to cut these out. I know all of you who might have Cricuts might think that would be much easier, and maybe it would be, but I don't have a Cricut, and that's why I'm saying I put a lot of time into some of these pages, because this took a lot of fussiness to do this. This took a lot of fussiness. But she turned the day of the week on its side for the sticker, and then I've used these really, really big numbers. And I think that's what she had done, and that's why she put the days of the week on their side, because the numbers were big. And it's something different, which is great. Now, I did want to show you, that would be normally the last week in October, but as you can see, we haven't reached Halloween yet. And I didn't really want to go into the next video for the next month with a Halloween in there. It just seemed odd to not have it included in this. So I went ahead and did 1 week in November so that I would have that. Now this kind of leads up to it, because maybe dress as Evil Queen. Who knows? But let's get to the Halloween page. And here it is. I love this page. It's so much fun. So again, I used something I had in my stash for a long, long time. So again, I don't know that if you could get it or not. It is called this, Tag-alongs. I'm not sure who. It just says Catherine Brooks is who made it or who designed it. But as you can see, it was all these tag-looking Halloween things. Now, I did not create them into tags. I put little, little parts that come out here. Would normally be the handle or just decorative. I just left them the way they are because I think they're really cute. So it works well because you got Halloween night with the mummy. You've got this. It had the actual month on there. And again, I didn't put the dates here again. I just left these out so you could see them for the most part. We've got our little spooky and the pumpkin perfection, which kind of goes along with pumpkin carving. Because these are just tags, and they're rather large tags for that matter, I had to find other things to add to this look. And this guy gave me the idea of I should make the page have kind of a mummy-ish look to them. So I cut a whole bunch of white, just printer paper. That's it. It's just something simple, printer papers. And I was just like putting it on a regular page here, and I'm like, well, that's underwhelming because you can't necessarily see it. So then I chalked all of the edges. Getting a little bit of gray, dirty-ish look because, the mummy isn't completely clean. And that was better, but it still wasn't quite right. And then I came up with the idea, I need to sponge the paper. So this has a light brown sponge all over the entire paper, both sides. And that way it helps those strips pop. They show up better on the paper. So that's what I did. Then glued all those down, got, stuff figured out where those are going to go. These are clear pumpkin stickers. They were just a few that I had left over from a while back. And then again, these here, and I think this one as well. Those were all from that big 12 by 12 sticker pack. So I just flipped through some of those pages, the sticker pages, and found something that would work well with this. I also had a little bit of like a gingham washi, and I added some of that as well to give it a little bit more color. Nicer little look, fill in those spots that seem like something's missing. So those are all of the pages that I have done for the month of October, plus a little bit in November. So maybe next video we'll have only 3 weeks to show for November. I'm not sure. I haven't counted. So yeah, it might be a little shorter video for those. So let's flip through these again real quick. By the way, I wanted to point out, because they had this, I wanted something else right here. So I just drew a little spider. Just a little string coming down with a little blob and 8 legs. That's as simple as it gets. All right, so let's go through our pages again. So we've got this. Let me get to the next. Our Evil Queen. Our gnomes. Our scrappy journal look. And then our fun little pumpkin and leaves. So I hope you enjoyed this. I hope it gave you some ideas. If you ended up watching this, I know not everybody watches this and it's not their thing, but if you did, thank you for watching, and I hope I gave you a lot of really good things to think on and possible ideas.
So there we go. There is all of the things that have happened. I mean, not all the things. I've been working and trying to get the yard stuff taken care of. It's the end of the year or end of the growing season, and we're getting into fall, so I'm trying to get all the fall cleanup done, get things ready for winter, getting those hopefully last minute weeds. I don't know how many more will grow after I take care of this round. I got the garden all cleaned up. There's nothing left in that. So it's all that kind of stuff. And as you can see, I put some plastic back here. And boy, I can't wait for that tree and that bush back there to grow tall enough to hide that fence and those trailers. I don't enjoy looking at them. So, yeah, that stuff has gotten done and, prepared for the winter now. But yeah, lots of different little things I'm doing as well is what I've showed you or talked to you about. But yeah, hopefully we won't have a terribly nasty fall, and it will be more of an Indian summer, and we'll just kind of ease into winter, and it'll be nice. And for those of you who are in the southern hemisphere, I hope you're starting to get some warmer weather and you're being able to get outside and enjoy that and getting away from the cold weather, because I know, halfway through winter you're wishing it was changing to spring already. Anyway, I'm going to stop there and let y'all go on with your day, your evening, whenever it is that you happen to be watching this, and we'll see y'all next time. Bye.